Welcome to another episode of Huff and Brown.
Seth, why don't you talk about our guest today?
Today, we have a very good friend of ours. His name is Josh Lindsey. You can call him JL if you want. Whatever you want to do, honestly. Josh, thanks for being here.
It's a pleasure to be here. I'm
Let's
happy
see
to
one
be
more
with you
round of
guys.
applause
This
for
is
Josh.
awesome. This was episode 3, you said?
Episode
Episode
3
3
of Huff and Brown. Dude.
Nice, dude.
So, like our first podcast, you're a guy that we've worked with. What was your first impression of me and Spencer? Not me and Spencer, like individually.
But like individually?
Yeah. Like when you first met us.
Spencer's a little intimidating at first.
Intimidating?
Intimidating.
I can see that.
Just
I've heard
because
that
like
before.
you're tall.
He's 6'7". He's a big.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
scary, though, dude.
Yeah, that's what I come to find out.
Well,
You're not scary.
if you look at
You
you,
can be,
you're
though,
scary, but then you have a conversation with you and you're like, oh, he's all right. But like,
yeah.
you know, if
That's
No,
nice, dude. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
no.
if
man,
you were
you're-
running at me in an alleyway, I would shit my pants.
No, yeah. No, for sure. Like
if you had a
full
conversation with me in the
speed,
alleyway, I'd be like, oh, this guy's
like
cool.
just grinding his teeth. He's so mad.
Yeah.
You don't know.
It's like I'm the guy that you're walking down an alleyway downtown, and I'm coming, towards you, and you're like, oh shit, I don't
Walk
even want-
faster.
Yeah, and I'm like, hey man, and you stop
Yeah.
because you're a good person, but you like the whole time you're like kind of shaking, and then we have a little conversation. You're like, oh, this guy just
Yeah.
don't shake my hand, but you're okay.
If I was walking, down the
exactly.
street and you were dressed in like homeless garb, like baggy shit
yeah.
and stuff, I would say to myself, and inside my own head, I'd be like, that's the scariest hobo
Or just
I've
like
ever
an
seen in
all
my entire
black.
life.
Like a ski mask, maybe.
No, not even that. Just like
That
that's
would
a
definitely be
that's a homeless
terrifying.
guy, and if it was you in homeless attire, I'd be like, that's the scariest homeless person I've ever seen in my entire life.
Like I'm definitely not up to date on my hobo stab insurance, so I'm gonna
No.
swerve this one hard.
I'd run.
I'm gonna like walk in where there's light or something.
Yeah, I'm saying that you're like raggedy and you make eye contact with me, I would run immediately.
Yeah, I've
Be
got
like,
like
that's
some
the scariest
drool
homeless-
coming down my
Like a-
lip.
like
a
You're
big,
oh,
like,
man.
Dude, that
beard.
would
There's
terrify me.
diseases. He's either gonna rip me apart or give me some kind of evil disease.
Yeah, one of the two.
But when I met you, it was just, I don't know. It was just like, what's up, man? Hey.
Oh man,
Like,
that's
oh, there's like another
Yeah.
guy that would enjoy a nice
yeah,
IPA
it was just
with
another
me.
bro.
that's
Like IPA.
that's worse than the hobo thing. It's just like,
See, at least
a
I'm
guy.
interesting. You're just that was
I'm just a
bland, dude.
dude.
That was pretty hurtful what you said to Seth right now, Seth.
That was-
I think you're really deep and you
No.
have a lot of
You just-
substance to you, and I think you're a lot more complex.
Well, he's
than
not.
Josh
He's
may
not
have let on.
intimidating. He's
Yeah,
just
you're
like,
not.
hey, what's
You're-
up, man? Like you were friendly. You were always nice to me, man.
You don't think
Like,
the beard's at least a little
yeah,
intimidating?
you don't think that's?
Yeah. I thought he had a nice beard. It's very.
Sweet.
It was very trimmed.
I'll take that, baby.
It was very
All right,
trimmed.
Let's go
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
I'm good now. All right,
What about you guys? Probably thought I was like a dumbass or something.
dumbass.
No, actually, I think me and you got along pretty well right off the bat because we bonded over hardcore music.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, a lot
Yeah.
of these bands no one else here knows.
Yeah,
So,
we were in like
yeah.
the scene in like 2012
yeah.
and shit like that.
I was accepting of
Mm-hmm.
you pretty quick.
Nice, dude.
I didn't want to like say this, but all right. So I think you're a fucking great guy, man. Great drummer, great musician,
Well,
all
thank
that
you.
shit.
Thank you.
But when I met you, I was like watching this show called Documentary Now, and there was a character on it, and his name was Barry, and
I think you told me this before.
that's your name in my phone still is Barry. I'm not kidding. And like, we'll have to watch it later or whatever. But
yeah. You said documentary now.
Documentary Now,
Okay.
it's with Fred
That's-
Emerson and Bill Hader.
Yeah.
And you just look exactly like this character Barry. And like when I met you, I was like, yeah, he's a cool guy, but he looks exactly like Barry. And me
I don't think
and-
I've ever researched what Barry looked
We'll
like.
watch it later. I'll show you because you'll laugh about it. 'Cause
Okay.
Dude, speaking Bill Hader and Barry, his show Barry was fucking awesome.
dude, I think they might have named that show after that.
you
character.
think it had some kind of correlation?
It had to have.
What is this? Who did that?
HBO. It was on HBO. I think Bill Hader came out with a show. It was called Barry, and it was about a dude who was like he was in the military. I think he was like a Marine or something. And then I could be wrong. He was a military dude, and then he turned into like an assassin who like killed people for money. He was a hitman. and he was like trying to get out of it. He starts like taking acting classes and stuff, but it's cool. It's serious, but it's funny. It's Bill Hader's little baby. I guess
I would not expect Bill Hader.
It's like
to
a
be
good mix between like serious and funny. Like they seamlessly like mix those two things together. It's cool.
Yeah, it's really good.
Well, I think the cool thing about like Bill Hader and the guy he was from SNL. He does
Fred Armisen.
Fred Armisen. Is that his name?
Armisen.
Armisen.
Complicated drug.
Armisen.
It's more of a groove.
Whatever.
Yeah.
If he's listening, sorry, I got that name wrong.
He's not.
You don't know that. You don't know that. Well, they have like kind of like a dry comedic aspect to them, to where like they could be in something serious and like make it funny.
Yeah, they're just talented. They're good actors.
Yeah,
that's what I credit.
They're just really good.
They're good actors, 100%.
I think. Yeah, and I think comedians and like funny people are the best actors. You know what I mean? Because they can go through all those emotions.
No, absolutely.
And shit,
like what's that one dude? Triple H. You remember when he did The Chaperone?
Oh my god!
Are we?
Do you remember that movie?
Are we going to segue into pro wrestling right now?
Yeah, this is a segue.
Well,
right
I think that's one. No, before we hit into anything like that, what do you think about that? Because I think I'm not every time. Bad. 9 times out of 10, it's terrible when somebody that's like a pro wrestler or not an actor. And then they come out with their blockbuster movie
this summer,
like Larry the Cable Guy, Get Her Done the movie. You know what I mean? Which whatever, he's funny, but
what was it?
People like
Inspector.
The Rock is one of. There's a few people, like The Rock.
Dude, The Rock's the only guy who made it out like hardcore. I think.
Yeah. I can't. I'm trying to rack my brain.
Fast and the Furious movies were definitely his best work.
You think so?
Because we got that, and then you have the Tooth Fairy.
Have you watched Skyscraper? Because that movie's fucking epic.
Dude.
Well, that's the thing. He's been in so many.
That movie.
He jumps off a crane into the building. He almost loses his grip. Like,
of course he does.
20 times in that movie. That's the best part. It's just always like him jumping on something.
Zooms in on his face and he goes,
ugh. It goes right into his face. He's holding on with his left hand. It just pulls himself up. Like that happens like 20 times in that movie.
Ever since the Fast and the Furious movies, he's always like been in those like very like dramatized.
He's got the one-liners too.
What was that one movie? San Andreas. Have you ever seen the San Andreas movie where he's in?
Oh yeah.
Like where just earthquakes everywhere.
Yeah, it's just earthquakes pretty much.
Like right when they get off the plane, there's a fucking like 9.2.
Well, it's because of the San Andreas thing. There's like a split in the tectonic plates right there.
It's San Andreas' fault.
Yeah. But no, like that's the thing though, man. Like he's really hard to hate, even though his movies are like kind of fucking stupid.
I know.
Like,
he's The Rock, dude.
He's done movies, but I mean, aside from those, which are, I honestly don't really know much about those, but he's done movies with like Kevin Hart and like
the Central Intelligence movie.
Yeah, he's been doing big movies that is not just like, oh, it's The Rock's in it. He's working with other legit actors and stuff. It's not like Triple H is like, oh, I'm gonna.
Like he worked with Paul Walker, Vin Diesel.
Yeah, he's
Gibson.
Broke into acting. Is there anybody else you can think of that was like either an athlete or a musician or something that just broke into that? I guess Jared Leto.
Jared Leto is going to be what I said. Yeah.
Well, but honestly, like, I think doing pro wrestling, you have to be a good actor. You have to be a great actor. You got to sell it. You got to sell it.
You got to sell it, dude.
Acting.
Especially
those
like
personas,
trash talking stuff. The Rock was the greatest one to do that.
He would all the backstage shit, like him and Macho Man Randy Savage. He was fucking good at it too. But I think he was just on crack the entire time or something. Or he was on coke. Yeah, dude, he had to have been on something.
Dude, their promos were hilarious.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, boy.
He would stop within sentences and like realize something else that he was going to say and just go to a different subject. Like
he always talked about himself in third person.
Yeah.
Like, you want to know what The Rock's going to do at WrestleMania? I'll tell you what The Rock wants to do at WrestleMania. Here's what The Rock wants to do. And then The Rock's going to walk down the aisle.
Go to The Rock show.
Ass, go to The Rock show.
Dude, fucking Steve Austin, man. He's got to be my favorite.
100%,
wrestler.
Dude. Him and The Undertaker were my favorite as a kid. I like The Undertaker.
Kane was badass too, dude.
Especially during like the Brothers of Destruction era. Like
Kane, who was his brother?
The Undertaker.
Yeah, they were brothers, right?
Well, they're not. I mean, the storyline is.
Yeah. But like him, like when The Undertaker was the American Badass, and he came out to like what Limp Bizkit? Was it Limp Bizkit? keep rolling.
You talking about when he always would ride
and
his
the
motorcycle out to the ring?
That was badass. What is that, like 2002?
That was like kind of after. That was after he was the dead man.
Yeah, because that's what he resurrected as,
Right,
the American badass.
Dude, it was so fucking cool when you were that age too. Like when you're
Yeah,
like 10, watching.
absolutely.
Oh my god! I mean, it's still cool, but like it was.
Like watching people jump off cages and like.
Well, that was one
into
of my favorite
tables,
dudes. Who
20-foot
was
ladders.
dude? Yeah, they were insane.
Like-
Jeff Hardy, dude. I think that was his name.
Yeah.
The little juggalo looking
Hardy
Yeah.
dude.
Boys, dude.
The Hardy
Yeah,
Boys.
but Jeff Hardy, a lot of dudes would do crazy stuff. He would take it to the next level, though. He would
do like a swanton
go
bomb
high,
off like the entrance thing.
off
like
of, it's insane. If you go back and watch some of those old clips of like him
It's
jumping
insane.
off of like double ladder, like put a ladder on top of a table or some shit. Insane, dude.
Yeah,
And
those ladder
you know,
matches.
you can sit and be like, wrestling's fake. It's all bullshit. And
Yeah.
nowadays, it's not the
it's
attitude
definitely
era
not
anymore.
that anymore. Yeah.
But you can't fake jumping off a fucking
No.
a 40-foot structure onto a dude laying on a table. There's
Yeah.
I mean, okay, technique to an extent, but technique's only going to get you so
Yeah,
far.
when you're 40 feet in the air, you just kind of let the
get
air
real.
travel
That's
with you.
insane. That's why I always and still do
No,
like
like
and
one of the-
enjoy watching
Well, I mean, dude,
wrestling.
that's the thing. Like people say wrestling's fake or whatever, but at this point, it's like saying you were in that movie. Acting's fake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's an act, but like it's a fucking skill.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
being like,
it
hey,
is,
you were in
absolutely.
the is like, hey, you were in the Super Bowl this year. Hey, that's fake.
That was
Yeah.
fake. That
was
didn't mean
planned.
anything.
They were deflated the whole time.
No, it's like, but like, yeah, you're playing a game that we made up. That like we're gonna.
Did you watch a lot of wrestling when you were a kid?
Yes,
Same.
I try
Definitely
to
a lot of
watch
wrestling.
as much as I can as an adult too.
Really? You watch like the new stuff coming out, the new WWE?
No, I don't like tune in every Tuesday or whatever, but like
I watch it every day.
it on YouTube.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I still like watching wrestling as an adult, but if I'm gonna watch wrestling, if I get the
It's
hair,
definitely a lot better to
I'm
go
watching
as an
old stuff.
adult.
I'm looking up Stone Cold or old Undertaker, old Mankind.
I mean,
shit.
dude, I
I'm
loved
not
it.
watching the new
I
stuff.
loved it way more when I was a kid. Like I used to like stay up late and watch it, or wake up early and watch
Mm-hmm.
it. And if something shitty happened to one of my favorite wrestlers, like I'd be at school that day and be like, oh man, like what's gonna
Just
happen?
bummed.
Yeah, just bummed out. I remember one time there was like a battle royale and fucking the Wolf Pack came out of nowhere and like destroyed all my favorite dudes. Remember the Wolf Pack?
I do not remember the Wolf Pack.
NWO. It was like
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah, there was like it was the Wolf Pack, and there was like all these fucking, I hated them. They were such
What was that?
because it was NWO versus WCW. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and,
I
like,
remember
there was
that.
like a WCW match going on.
What's his name? Kevin what? Like big blonde dude?
Yeah,
Kevin,
I don't know.
I don't know.
But I just remember one time, me and my brother fucking taped it, and
No, I know.
You
Kevin
talking about
Hart?
Kevin Nash?
Kevin Nash.
yeah.
That was his name.
That's who it was.
Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash.
Yep.
And they
Oh,
came in
dude.
and they fucking
That was a trio right there.
fucked everything up. And like I went to school that day, and I was just like, "What the fuck is my life?" It was like third grade. You know what I mean? I was like, "God damn it."
Do you remember Shane O'Mac? It was Shane McMahon wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's doing that a little bit now. Like actually like going every once in a while and wrestling and doing all his like classic moves. There was one time where he came back after he hasn't wrestled in like 20 years. He came back and like jumped off like, you know what Hell in a Cell is?
Yeah.
He jumped off the top of that and like tried to like elbow Kevin Owens on the announcer table. And Kevin Owens moved, of course, because that's a lot of time to fall and not notice.
Right.
And then he just hit the fuck out of the announcer table.
It was like, cool, I'm just going to lay here and fucking die now.
It was really cool.
Dude, who
It
was
was
that
really cool.
guy that would wear like the white buttoned-up shirt, but he was like the bigger dude with the longer hair, and like he just like put like nails in his face and shit like that. Remember
Who?
that guy? God damn it! What's
But
his name?
nails, he was a bigger guy. The guy, Mankind, Mick Foley was the guy that would always be.
That's what I'm talking
Mankind?
about.
Is that who
yeah.
you're talking
Mr.
about?
Sacco?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude Love.
Dude, he
Cactus
was
Jack.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was insane. And that's one of the things, probably one of the most memorable moments in wrestling to me was the fucking Undertaker and Mankind.
Hell in a Cell match.
Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, where he
And
literally threw him.
threw them through, and you can see, you go back and watch it, you can see how them up there are like, okay, dude, because it's an act, and they even were like, oh man, this shit's like
just fucking
breaking under
already.
me, like, all right, let's just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like that's epic, dude.
Those are always solid matches. They've done that twice.
Dude,
Hell in a Cell matches.
You gotta wonder how many times that like they do stunts like that, and they're like, "Hey man, I'm really hurt right now. Like I gotta exit the ring."
Quite
You know
a
what I
few
mean? But,
times.
like,
Just throw me off the top.
yeah, just like fucking, let me get out of here right now because I need medical attention right now.
Yeah.
Dude, I went to an underground wrestling. It was one of the independent wrestling promotions, and
What is it called? Where Brett,
was it
Brett
Southern?
Ison wrestles?
Yeah, where
in there.
Brett Iceman, the Iceman.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah, goodbye apathy. Shout out.
Yeah.
But one of the guys, I think is it Southern? Is that Southern
Underground Pro. Yeah,
Southern
that's what I was trying
Underground Pro.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the dudes, I can't remember which one it was. When I saw a show of them, the dude he had to have torn his ACL or something because he couldn't walk.
Oh, I
They
believe
had to
it.
help him out, and that's just. Dude, that would be like if I was like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna go do this amateur wrestling stuff." Those are just dudes, you know what I mean?
There's
They
no
make,
like guidelines or anything because
and
a lot
they're
of
not making a lot of money at all.
no.
They're not making hardly
they're
shit.
probably not making anything.
You know what I
Unless they
mean?
have, like,
And
a
they're out
sponsor.
there doing this shit, tearing their AC, just
Yeah.
for the love of the
And
game,
a lot
I
of
guess.
moves that people do on a daily basis, like in Southern Underground Pro, a lot of the moves that they do are illegal in WWE. Like,
Yeah, I believe, dude, it was
yeah, no, like,
intense.
that's
dude.
why
It
it's
was pretty
always cool to, like, if someone's like wrestling's fake, then just take them to like the Southern Underground Pro thing. And
Yeah,
you're
and
like,
watch
well,
them get hit.
Yeah, well, WWE
fucking
has like
try it and tell me it's fake after that.
Because
I mean,
it's not. You can, if you're standing there watching, you're hearing the sound it makes from them smacking the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
And you watch this dude do a damn front flip off of top rope onto somebody, and you see and you hear the contact.
it's definitely
It's
happening.
happening, dude.
Yeah,
it's definitely more entertaining than fucking real wrestling, which is the two guys like,
Yeah. Oh,
come here.
yeah. No, let me fuck you in the butt. No, let me fuck you in the butt.
No, come on now.
yeah, no backstory at all. You know what I mean? It's just two dudes fucking wrestling around. I would,
Yeah.
I want to see who slept with, Tyson's girlfriend or whatever, and who
gonna push you through a
Sage
damn
is banging.
table.
You know what I mean? I'd be like, oh shit, this fight's gonna be intense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to see Stone Cold throw some beer on something.
Yeah, dude. I want to see Stone Cold do one of his tricks he does, like where he drops a net on the mat,
And then just goes
There's
in
8
and beats
dudes in
ass.
there. Net drops on him, and he just starts.
That was DX.
Dude, there is a
Remember,
video
he
on
netted
YouTube.
DX in the.
It's my favorite thing because like Stone Cold comes out and the announcer's like, "Oh man, he's been drinking all night. He's got a beer." In his hand." and he's like walking across the like entrance thing. He's just he's like talking shit about like all the dudes in the ring or whatever. And he runs up, and then a net just falls on the fucking mat, and everybody gets caught in it. And he's like, boom, boom,
The
boom.
announcers are going like, "My God,
Yeah,
my God,
man! My God! Oh, Stone Cold,
Beat
the
the living hell out of
humanity!
him.
It's another one of Stone Cold's tricks, you know what I mean? And then Kane comes out and like choke slams,
Yeah.
whoever. Oh man, it gives me chills.
And you see Vince McMahon walk out waddling, doing the $1 million
Yeah.
strut.
It looks like there was a meme the other
Dude.
day that I saw where it
That's
had
when-
like the gif of Shane McMahon like walking out.
Was it
And
Vin-
the
you
caption
mean
was
Vin?
like, "When white people walk into Bass Pro Shop."
Yeah, I think that's how my family walks into Bass Pro.
Like, they're just like, "No chance."
Oh man,
Dude, there was
That was funny.
one of my favorite wrestlers back in the day was the Ass Man. Remember the Ass Man?
are you talking about Rikishi?
No,
name was
Billy
the Ass
Gunn.
yeah.
Yeah, Billy Gunn, Road Dogg.
His song was like, I'm the Ass Man.
Yeah. What's even funnier than that is that like the Jumbotron that like does like entrance music, blah, blah, and then like it shows like Ass Man.
Yes.
Like, literally spelt in like lime green or something.
Dude,
it was
me
so
and my brother
stupid.
used to, we had WCW championship, whatever video game for
Mm-hmm.
PS1, and we'd always play as the Ass Man because like just because of his entrance, like
Yeah.
I'm the Ass Man. And he'd come out and he was just like, I think he had like lips on
Yeah.
like his fucking Speedo or whatever he wore. Oh man, it's so funny. I'm the Ass Man.
Did you ever play the Know Your Role, the SmackDown Know Your Role on PS1?
No, that's what it was.
SmackDown 2, Know Your Role.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that game was so fucking
That was
cool.
the best wrestling game, hands down.
You could make your own wrestler.
Yep.
You could be. Oh man,
That was the best.
I want to play that
glory
right now.
days.
Did you ever play wrestling games?
I think it may be that same game you were talking about. The wrestling game I remember having as a kid, there were only a few wrestlers you could pick. There wasn't a whole lot. And I
Was it on N64?
No, it was on PS1. It was a PS1.
That's what SmackDown was on too.
Yeah, it was a SmackDown game. Yeah, I don't remember.
It
Which
may have been
one
the
it
first
was.
SmackDown.
I think it was the first SmackDown is the one that I played because
They
there
could
seriously
be it.
weren't a whole lot of wrestlers. They had like The Rock on there and
All the
like,
star people.
Exactly, but I don't know, man. Wrestling games now, I mean, they're kind of cool. I've played a few as I've been an adult, but it's like button It's weird. The control, it's
Like it was.
they're broken, dude.
What
It's not-
made it so cool to have a wrestling game back in like PlayStation 2 is that like it wasn't like they weren't trying to be realistic.
Yeah.
It's where like you could button mash if you wanted to on PS1 because everything was like reacting to the button rather than like, oh, let's make like real
Yeah.
life like, oh, I'm gonna grab you. It's gonna take a minute. Like,
And that's the thing
I
that
don't like
fucks
that.
with it. It's like
Yeah.
these reversals and all sorts
Yeah.
of weird shit they have in there. Not for me, dude.
like
It's so like intuitive with the making of the characters too, because like
Mm-hmm.
I always liked the fact that you could like go in and make your own wrestler. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And the newer ones, like, dude, it's so specific. Like, oh, how do you want the cheekbones to look? I'm like, oh,
Yeah, like, I don't
shit.
give a fuck about
how
the
big do you
cheekbone.
want
I'm
your
never gonna
ears to
look
be?
at
Like,
them.
I don't care about that shit. I just want to like.
How
you know,
big
look-
is your shoe size?
Yeah.
I just
You can
wanna
go all the way up to
fight.
23.
Yeah, I just want to look badass and like fucking go wrestle people.
Dude.
They're so fucking intuitive nowadays.
Yeah.
You can't say that a spear from Bill Goldberg didn't hurt, even if it
Oh,
was
Bill
fake, you know what I mean?
Goldberg. I met him. That's one of the only pro wrestlers I met Goldberg when I was in second grade. This is a weird fucking story I'm gonna tell you. But when I was in second grade and we were driving around here in West Nashville, and there used to be a Kmart, and we were driving by, and there was a
Bill Gold.
tractor trailer sitting out there, and it said "Kids Race Against Drugs." And me and my family were going to eat, and I remember driving by that, and I looked out the window, and I was like, "Drugs," you know, being a little dipshit. And my
Like
parents
the
were like,
Dare
"What?"
Lion.
Yeah, well, it was what it was. We came back after we ate, and they had this little obstacle course set up, and it was like a little track, like a little race track, and they had a lawnmower out there, and they were letting kids get on this little lawnmower and do this little obstacle course thing and time them.
Were they like the buffed up lawnmowers?
No, it was like I was in
Were they
second
like-
grade. This was a regular like Craftsman riding lawnmower. Just a regular, like with a steering wheel, or not
Just a good
zero
old
turn.
John
A
Deere.
good old, yeah,
Just
exactly.
a good old fashioned John Deere.
So, I did this, and my parents were like, cool, let him ride the tractor and do this little, race thing. Cool. It was second grade. After I did it, I guess it was like near the end of the day or whatever, the people were like, hey, you won. And I was like, what the fuck you mean I won? I won a trip to Disneyland
Really?
No
for
way.
like a whole little, it was like a week at Disneyland. They put us in a resort. I got 2 tickets to, like my whole family went, but I got in a resort. There was another race in Orlando that they were doing, the kids race against drugs. It was like a whole campaign, like a dare kind of thing,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you're
yeah.
saying. But I
So
mean,
there's
there
a bunch
was,
of
I
kids
met,
racing on John Deere tractors.
yeah,
that-
on these little
Or maybe-
riding lawnmowers. And like once I got there, I was like, cool, whatever, I'll go to this race, but I got a trip to fucking Disneyland.
That's
I'm
the
in
most
second grade.
redneck thing I've ever heard.
It's
you think they-
insane.
do you
It's
think they
redneck
set it up?
as hell.
Do you
And
think
dude, we got down there and we did the little race where they had all these little events and little things we would go to. Goldberg was there. I met Goldberg, Mary Lou Retton, the Harriet, the spy chick.
What?
Dan Marino, Jorge Posada, all these. I've got a scrapbook.
Posada?
Jorge Posada. He was a
Oh.
catcher for the New York Yankees,
Oh,
like
okay.
back in
Oh,
the day.
shit.
But Mario Andretti, the IndyCar driver, they had all sorts
They
of
were all there?
celebrities. Oh yeah, Kathy Ireland, she was there. She was a babe. But
of my
and
first
Goldberg,
boners.
he was Goldberg.
Was she the one waving like the finish flag?
No, this was like at an event they threw, like one of the events they had like a dinner and like all these famous people came and would like talk. It was just like a cool thing, I guess, for
Probably donated.
yeah, it was, a charity for them, and they all had their tables set up at the back. So all the kids that were there got to, go through all of them, get an autograph, talk to them all.
Yeah.
It was a cool little thing. I've got a scrapbook, all these pictures from it and all the autographs I got from it. But yeah, that's a cool story about when I met Bill Goldberg.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was weird. And I still to this day, when I think about that story, I'm like, what the fuck? It's the most, it's redneck. It's the fucking trailer park white trash fucking, you hit the lottery. You know what I mean?
Do you think they ran that race like NASCAR runs their races? Like, do you think like, so there's like John Deere and then they'll have like another like another
race
team of other
all these
brand
different
of
sponsors and
lawnmowers, yeah.
endorsers that were part of it.
Dude, that reminded
Had like
me.
little stickers on your car.
That reminded
Or
me of
lawnmower.
when I was a kid. My parents made me go to Safety Town. You know what that is?
No. Isn't that the one where-
Do elaborate.
No, it's
Ohio thing, I think.
yeah, it's an Ohio thing, I think. You go and you have your little car. And it's like a little go kart. Like you're like fucking 8 years old, and they would teach you how to drive at like 8 years old, and you just like drive around and be
That's
like,
productive.
"Ooh, I gotta stop at the stoplight. Oh, light's yellow. Proceed with caution." Like all that shit. And I thought it was so fun, and all the other kids fucking hated it. They're like, "I can't believe my parents are making me go to Safety Town." And I was like, "I like it, dude. I think this is fucking
How
dope."
old were you when you went?
I was like 8 or 9, dude.
would they have like 14-year-olds that had already been through it go like follow you in police cars to try to
Yeah.
you would turn you would make a right turn, but you'd maybe not stop at the stop sign, and you'd drive and you'd see the 14-year-old in the cop car and you'd start getting nervous. Would they prep you for that kind of
No,
stuff?
there was this adults.
Did
with-
like DUI
There was
tests?
this adult. There was adults with whistles, and like if you ran a red light, they'd be like, "Fucked up."
It's like basketball practice.
Take a lap.
Take a lap.
It'd have been better. Yeah, it would have been
Just
better.
take
if
a
they-
lap right now.
It would have been better if they
Push-ups.
had like 14-year-olds dressed up as cops. Like, put your hands in the front of the car. Like, oh fuck, you know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
shit!
Slam you on the back.
You're going downtown, boy.
checking your pockets. Like, oh,
Actually, fine like marijuana.
they plant
something
like
on
yeah,
you.
yeah. They plant like
Sorry, I need you to get in the back.
yeah.
Call your mom.
Oh god.
That's insane. dude.
Anyway, yeah, Safety Town, dude.
Safety town.
Yeah.
Also, I went to a place called Law Camp when I was about 15 years old, and it was basically training to be a police officer. To the point.
that
Interesting.
obviously didn't work out for you, Seth.
Why? You don't think I'd be a cop?
No, I don't, dude.
Nah, you
Me
can't.
neither.
Nah.
But they did have like, dude, they had simulations. They had a giant projector, like a simulation projector, and you had a fake gun in your hand, and
God.
and they had acted out scenes where it's like some dude with a crowbar.
It's like that Time Crisis game at
Oh,
Dave and
dude,
Buster's.
I'm telling you, yeah,
The
like
best.
some,
That is a good
Some
game.
dude with like a fucking crowbar would be like, "I'm gonna hit my wife again," like serious shit like that, and you had to make the
You're only
decision.
9.
No, I was 15.
Oh, okay, 15.
But like, still, they'd be like, and they're like,
That's
"You
a
should have
serious
shot
situation.
that guy." You know what I mean? Like, you fuck up the simulation, you're like, "Oh, I lost." They're like, "Yeah, you should have shot him in
You
the head."
suck.
Like, what the fuck, dude?
I think it's time to try out a new segment that we want to work into this shit. Let's play the name game, Seth.
Okay.
And we're going to play with arcade games. And you know what? Let's widen it out. Let's just do video games in general. For those of you that do not know
Yeah,
the
explain
name
it.
game. So we'll do video games today. I say Crash Bandicoot. Okay, we're going to go the last letter in the word. So it'd be T. Crash Bandicoot ends in a T.
Okay.
So I say Crash Bandicoot,
I say
and
time,
we'll go.
Chris.
Let's go clockwise. So I'm gonna say one. You'll go. So
Clockwise.
T. You would have to say something with a T. So a video game that would start with a T.
Tomb Raider. you
Tomb
know.
Raider. So that would end with an R, and so on. You would say something with an R. So you get the concept.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
let's do it. Video games. I'm gonna start you off right now.
Are we going clockwise or counterclockwise?
Let's
going
go
clockwise.
clockwise. I'm gonna start it off. We're gonna go me, Seth, you,
Okay.
and you have. Let's say
That
5
sounds fun.
seconds. If you
5
start, if you
seconds.
start stuttering,
Dale.
we're gonna buzz you out.
5 seconds?
Dale, you count it off whenever.
All right.
You know what I mean?
He's the official referee.
All right, we're gonna go Mario. All right, you're out. I'm gonna go again. Mario.
Oblivion.
Oh, fuck
So
you.
that's an N.
Mm-hmm.
NHL 2019. So just go with the L. NHL.
Last of Us.
Steep. This is the wingboarding game. The wingsuit.
Steep, is that a P?
Yeah, P.
All right, Spencer wins that round.
I just
Yeah.
won it.
Ding.
You want to do another round of same category? Or
Same
do it-
category. Seth, you start us out with a video game.
All right.
Still clockwise?
Yeah, same order.
Call of Duty. It's a Y. Good luck.
Fuck, dude. I don't know. I'm out. That's 4 seconds.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking of it, either, dude, I don't even know why I won, dude.
Yeah.
You suck, Seth.
I feel like
that round.
he has that strategy where he like knows that there's not.
I was
I think
thinking
you
about
planned
that.
that out, dude.
Yeah,
the whole time.
That was a strategic
'Cause
move there.
I was so embarrassed about losing in the first round that I was like, I'm going to think of a game that no one else is gonna
All right, so we got to do one more. So we'll when we do this segment, we'll let everybody start out one. I won. You know, that's weird. The one I started, I won. He won the one he started.
Yeah.
So you
All right,
started this
Josh,
one.
hit us
so
with one.
what if we hit a tiebreaker?
We
What's the
all fight.
tiebreaker? It's got to be
Yeah,
a
then we have a slap fight.
fight
dude.
to the
fight.
death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
All right, hit us with a video game.
All right. Let's see. God of War. So that's R.
Red Dead Redemption.
It's an N for you.
fuck. Fucking bitch.
Ow!
Little bitch.
Fuck you, mother.
Come on
Fuck you,
down
mother-
here, bitch.
Oh,
Come on down.
Get you, boy.
All right, so let's talk about cave diving, dude.
You ever been splunking before, Josh?
I have not been splunking. I just actually found out what splunking was about
Spelunking.
15 minutes ago.
I think it's spelled
because Spencer.
SPU. I don't know how it's spelled, but
I think it's a very interesting hobby that you could get into. I think
very-
it's not something for large human beings to participate in.
Yeah, you definitely got to be like.
I think a guy like
5'10",
you,
like
maybe
140 pounds.
you're kind of narrow. You're tall, but you're kind of narrow. You might be able to, sneak in
not-
some crevices.
Not in the slot.
yeah,
like,
why risk
little
it though?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
slot of rock that he had to slide through. The video you showed me, dude.
Yeah,
I couldn't
these
do that.
guys will go in. They'll find a crack in the earth that may be,
You're like, "Oh, there's probably a
7
cave down
inches.
there."
Yeah. Let's take a hike down a hole in the earth and see if we can find some cave dicks coming out of the ceiling and some flappy
cave
fucking
herpes.
some flappy diseased vagina looking art
Oh my
hanging
God.
off the sides.
Take a few pictures and
so
crawl back.
beautiful.
I literally
Look how
yeah.
much it
You
looks
know
like
they're probably
smegma.
crawling for like 2 hours.
So pretty. Yeah. The walls inside of these. Okay, so you're cheating death. These guys are hanging from ropes. This is to get to these
Like rappelling down
to get
something.
to these rooms that are not even that big, that just have these things hanging off the sides of the walls that look like the lady parts of women that Seth picks up at the methadone clinic.
Sure. Yikes.
So I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah,
I've been to caves. I like going. I will go into a cave and appreciate it if it's one I can walk into and just
Yeah.
look around and be like, "Oh,
Have
cool
like a
stuff."
funnel cake bar.
dude. I said that. I said earlier. I was like, why don't they just call it caving? That's so much
Yeah.
easier to say with an apostrophe. You know what I mean? High comma.
Yeah, no
caving.
G. Yeah, just take the G out.
When
I'm
you
going
say
caving tonight. I'm not
Yeah.
going spelunking tonight because that's a long, stupid word that's made up.
Yeah.
I'm going caving tonight. High comma.
Like imagine like someone asking them what they do. Like, what do you do for your hobby? Like, would you rather say splunking or caving?
Yeah, I'd rather
Definitely
say
caving.
caving. It sounds way
Definitely
if
cooler.
you say spelunking, that sounds
She's
like
gonna look at
you.
you
That
like,
sounds
what?
like you're the kind of guy that may your job might be catching skunks and de-stinkifying them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
you might be the
selling as
kind of guy
household
that
pets.
that takes stink glands out of skunks.
Is there
And-
stink
yeah,
glands?
I'm
Is-
living
is
my
it
life.
a gland that makes them?
I'm living my life in one skunk at a time.
It's a sack. We heard from Dale that it's a sack.
Basically a gland, dude.
That's like I'm going spelunking. Like, oh, you're going to go rescue skunks, take them to your home lab, and take the stink out of them and let them go.
And you know what?
Desplunking them.
When you do that,
Spelunking.
you stink. You smell like a skunk.
And
Oh,
that
yeah.
won't get you pussy. If you say
Smelling like funk.
I'm going caving later,
Then that's-
panties
yeah.
drop.
That's
You know what
pretty.
I mean?
That's,
I'm going
it
caving.
sounds
Soaked.
cooler. It does.
And it's
Yeah.
funny. It's ironic too because like going caving could be a euphemism for having some sex.
It
you know?
could. It'd be
You wanna
like,
see
hey,
my
you know
collection
what?
of rocks?
Oh,
It's
it's
at my
like
house.
some of those promiscuous women you might find. You go have sex with them, and then you're like, oh, maybe you've been caving a time or two.
Yeah,
That's
the
a term
real
that I've
freaks
heard
go
used.
caving.
Dude, and being the only single person in this room, I'm gonna use that next time I go. I'm gonna go up to a girl and be like, "You trying to go caving?
Trying to go caving later tonight.
Trying to go caving?
Trying to find some stalactites.
Trying to fucking yeah, exactly, dude. Good idea.
You trying to go to the crystal chamber
You
and have a
trying to-
ball? You know what I'm saying?
Trying
Trying
to
to
go to
crawl
the-
for 2 hours.
trying to go to the ball?
Yo, talking about caving though, there's one story that I do know of that's terrible. It's in Utah. It's a cave called Nutty Putty Cave. These two brothers, there were these Mormon brothers in Utah that went caving. This guy, he saw this. He started crawling in there, and it got real tight because they're crawling in damn 7-inch height of rooms. He's waddling. This dude gets stuck. He gets stuck. Long story short, the clay and the rock forms down around him. They can't fucking get him out.
Down around him?
So he's
like
stuck.
moves?
He's crawling through the cave, right, on his belly. He's belly crawling. And he's stuck. He can't turn around because he's like, I need to turn around and go the other way because I've just been stuck going in this like shitty little crack in the earth that I can't fucking turn around in because I'm an idiot. Fucking finds this little spot. He sees it where it drops down and it kind of opens out. And he's like, man, if I can get down here, maybe I can turn around and get back up and go the other way. Well, he gets his torso down into the little crevice. And he kind of has to suck his gut in to get it. He like breathe in, slide in there, lets out, and the rock is like clay in there. It was like wet clay, and it just conformed to him, and he's stuck in there. His brother couldn't even get down to where he was to help pull him out. They get rescuers out there.
Was he like hanging upside down, or was he like?
Yeah, he was vertical basically. His head was upside down. His feet were sticking out. There maybe like, I think they said like 8 inches of his foot or some shit. His legs sticking out. So I mean, you think about that. If you're belly crawling, there's not much room. Dude's legs sitting out in front of you, and you're just on your belly. You can't pick up.
Well, I guess hanging upside down would be a little easier to cope with dying than
I think he was just like fucking
him
just
like
cramped.
Than him being like horizontal and like because like the show 1,000 Ways to Die.
Yeah,
It used to come on like Spike and shit like that. There was
Gross
one
shit on
episode
that
where
show.
he was trying to rob something. It was dramatization, and like he ended up hanging upside down. And they said it only takes like 120 minutes, so it's like what an
dude,
hour.
I think
and a
it
half.
took him longer than that because they got rescuers out there, tried pulling him out. They couldn't rig a pulley system to pull him out. Dude, and eventually he died. I mean, I think it may
What,
I
like
think
starvation
I think they
or
said
like
it was like
lack of
3 or
air?
4. No, because dude, if you're sitting vertical, all the blood is rushing to your head.
Oh yeah, it pops like blood vessels and shit.
Exactly. He died from being
upside
down.
Yeah.
100%, and
Yikes.
that's
to be a bad
terrible
way
though,
to
because
go.
I mean, there comes a point there where you've got to realize I'm stuck and I'm not getting out of this, dude, and you're just that's terrible. You know what I mean?
I feel like that'd be the worst part of it. Like,
Yeah, it's something I don't have to worry about though,
Like,
because I'm
ugh,
giant
fucked
and
up.
I'm not fitting in any little crevices in the earth. So.
I'm not trying to go crawling holes in the earth. So I'm good.
Yeah.
No,
As far
dude.
as
I
that.
mean-
I can die any other way, but I'm not going to die that way because I don't know.
I would
I'm
much
not
rather
a
die
rat,
skydiving
so
than
I don't
die.
need to live in a cave.
And there's giant rats down there too.
I live in the year 2019. I don't have to live in a cave. If I want to live off the grid, I can just go get a trailer or
They
build
do
a
have
cabin in
those
the woods.
hobbit holes that they're actually making into.
Well, hobbits' houses
Houses.
are
And that's
usually pretty,
different.
well kept and
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not
nice.
crawling. Yeah, that's
Well, you're not
totally-
crawling.
If
in
you've
it.
read The Hobbit,
I'm definitely not crawling anywhere.
Bilbo Baggins' house is actually pretty nice.
And I would chill in a cave. I like going to caves.
I go in a
caves
big
that you
cave.
can
I just
walk
want
in.
to stand. Yeah.
And I think that's
I'm not
mainly
gonna crawl into a hole in that cave.
I'm not going. I'm not belly crawling through a crack in the earth. Let's just be real. Because what are
Yeah.
you gonna do? You're gonna belly crawl and maybe die.
yeah.
What a view, dude! What a fucking view!
You know,
Have you?
It's so beautiful down here. It's so fucking dark. Look at these rocks. What a fucking
Let's take
view,
a picture
dude.
and crawl all the way
I'm
back
gonna
now.
die, but check out these fucking.
Yeah, check out this fucking
These
cave
fuck-
wiener
yeah.
coming out of the ceiling.
Cave
What a
wiener.
view, dude! Worth almost dying,
dude.
What a fucking
Speaking
view.
of speaking of rock talk, let's talk about masturbation.
Talking about like jerking your dick.
Let's talk about masturbation.
What's the weirdest place you've masturbated?
I
You ever jack off at work, Seth?
no. Oh yeah, not my current work, but I have done before. Yeah,
What job did you jack off at?
I was a bartender. I didn't.
You just went in the bathroom of the bar and beat off real quick during your shift.
It was a private bathroom. You know what I mean?
So during your
I didn't
shift, you
jack
just
off
went,
in front of people. Where's the
Yeah.
weirdest place you've jacked off? Now that your girlfriend's in front of you.
the weirdest place I've jacked off?
Yeah.
Let me think about it, dude.
I have a weird place in work, by the way. After you two go.
You do?
Yes.
Well, probably the weirdest place I ever jacked off was, on the top of a Ferris wheel.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
No.
Yeah,
Come on.
dude. It was the Mestito County Fair, and it was me and
How slow was that Ferris wheel that you could finish?
Oh, I did it quick, man. If you're up at the top of the Ferris wheel and it starts moving, you nut quick,
the
dude. And the
elevation
people
starts to
behind,
mess
the
with
people
you?
underneath you, man.
Were you alone? Walked
Yes,
to the
I was
fair
alone.
and you're like, I'm
That's
going to
why
jack
it was
off with that
masturbating.
Ferris wheel right there. Wait, why were you on a Ferris wheel alone? That's the saddest thing I've
you
ever
could
heard.
jack off.
Yeah, dude. It was me and my friend Tristan Baker, dude. We're at the Rutherford County Fair.
Did you jack yourself off?
No, we had a bet. No, we had a bet. We bet on the demolition derby. Dirty Dan lost. So the bet was whoever lost had to go masturbate on their right of choice. I picked the Ferris wheel, got to the top, started going ferociously. And I'd eaten a few. Eaten a few deep fried goodies from the concession stand.
Wait,
So
how
my
old-
hands were already. They were kind of they were slick.
How
So I
old
got
were
it.
you?
I got it off quick, dude. What
That's
about you,
awesome,
Josh?
dude.
I don't know if I can beat that.
Get it? Beat that? Get it? No,
What?
tell us though.
A Macy's third floor restroom.
Macy's. So the weirdest places you guys have ever jacked off at are bathrooms.
Dude, my weirdest place is almost it's on par with your weirdest place. Mine is in the back seat of a minivan when I was about 12 years old with like not my family going on a family trip.
So you were with another
It
family.
was my buddies. It's me and my best friend. We're sitting in the back seat. He's got his little brother and his little sister, and his mom and dad in the car. I got a blanket over.
So you're in the car. You're in a van with
I
your
was in the
buddy's
car.
family.
With everybody in
You've
it.
got a little fucking blanket with a Mario on it, and you put it over your lap, and
I had it
you
like
pull the
this.
turtle shell out and start fucking wanking, dude.
fucking jacked off, and I came to.
You came to?
Did you just put it on the
come in the
blanket?
blanket?
I
You
finished.
sick fuck, dude. Have you ever eaten anybody? Because that's the kind of fucking habits that cannibals have, dude.
Dude, you know what the best
You're
part is?
fucking sick.
That like my best friend at the time sitting next to me like looked at me and was like,
Did he high
was like-
five you?
No, he was like, "Are you jacking off right now?"
Oh, dude, are you fucking serious right now? Seth.
Caught. Can we get a moment of silence? For
Yeah,
Seth,
can we?
please?
We need a moment of
a
silence.
moment of
Let's pray
silence.
for Seth.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that story. Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So, are you still friends with that guy?
We still talk. I mean, but he like knew.
Not about everything, but
Oh God.
He knew. He called you out
He
on it,
called
dude.
me
He
out on it.
knew you were fucking wanking it. And the fucked up thing is, he was just like, "Hey, dude, you beating off?"
was this
Like,
like
he wanted to fucking join in. He was like, "Hey, man, you give me the other half
he
of
was
that
like
blanket."
Genuinely concerned. He was just like.
was this like a couple minutes after?
No.
Was this on the way to the vacation or the way home?
Did he ask
was
you
on
if
the
you were
way.
masturbating?
So you, Seth. Yeah, I love you, man. I
You
fucking
just
love
live
you.
life on
The
the
best
edge,
part of the
man.
story is like I was like, no, dude. Like I didn't own up to it. I was like, no.
So,
what are you talking about?
Did
He's
he
like,
ask
"What's
you
that
while
smell?"
you were doing it, or was it?
It was while I was doing it.
So you-
How old were you when you did that?
I was about.
So you knew he
12,
was
13?
suspecting that you were.
He knew.
And
He
you
knew I
did
was
it.
jacking off. He was like,
So you know, with that story that he just told, you know that the entire time during that vacation,
He was
like
jacking off.
he was jacking off. Him and his buddy had a little room together. Hopefully, had separate beds. But his buddy be laying there trying to go to sleep, and all he'd hear he'd hear like some ruffling around. Then he would hear.
here's what you hear outside my bedroom because I had the porn tip on. It'd be like, and then Rewind.
That's a fucking good-hearted story, Seth.
It really was.
All right.
I don't
Well,
think I'll ever beat that in my
You know,
lifetime.
I think everybody that's listened to this episode is probably a little dumber now. Probably think of us a little less. If they keep letting Seth out, 2 times a week, like they've been doing, I think we can continue this podcast.
Oh, I think
But
we
if
should,
the
absolutely.
restrictions at the facility kind of crack down, we might,
We'll find out.
Of course.
we'll find out. But everybody, hashtag pray for Seth.
Hashtag pray for Seth.
Nothing really wrong with him. He just needs it.
Yep.
You okay?
I got a little indigestion going on.
Oh, okay. Cool.
All right, Dale, send us out.
Do what you do, Dale.
Just yell it.
See you next time. Thanks for listening.
You heard it.